Springfield Police Department announcing a new traffic enforcement initiative earlier today aimed at reducing fatal car crashes. Welcome to Western Mass News at 10. I'm Abby Carnevale. Western Mass News reporter Addie Patterson joins us live in studio with more on what local residents can expect. Addie?
Abby, Springfield Police say there's increasing patrols on roads across the city as part of this safety effort, and there's a zero-tolerance policy for unsafe driving.
We can't sit next to everyone in a car and tell them how to drive, but we certainly can be out there enforcing the traffic laws that cause a lot of these accidents.
On Tuesday, the Springfield Police Department held a conference announcing a new traffic enforcement initiative aimed at reducing unsafe driving. This effort comes after 11 fatal car accidents happened in Springfield this year alone, and over a dozen occurring in 2023.
There's going to be zero tolerance for the people who commit these infractions. We have to do something to attempt to bring down our fatality rate, especially with pedestrians.
This high visibility traffic enforcement initiative started back in May when members of the traffic division were deployed in the areas of Boston Road along Parker Street and Sumner Avenue to reduce unsafe driving. During those deployments, police handed out over 80 citations and issued 2 criminal complaints.
Our goal is to change the attitudes of people who are operating these motor vehicles. If you change their attitude, you change their behaviors, and it creates a more safe environment for everyone out there.
Springfield Mayor Dominic Sarno also speaking at Tuesday's meeting. He states that increased police presence on the roads is a necessary step for the city to ensure that the lives of local residents, especially pedestrians, are protected.
We've done the proactive stuff, infrastructure. We've done the boards out there warning people. We've done the education out there. And still, people are not adhering to the traffic rules and regulations.
Police say this type of traffic enforcement will be throughout the city to hold those driving recklessly accountable. For now, reporting live in studio, Addie Patterson for Western Mass News.